Hello. I don't know what this video is. Actually, I know what the video is going to be about, but I don't know what I'm doing this video. This is a video I've been talking about wanting to do and then just not doing it. And so here I am recording a video I said I wasn't going to do. I was thinking about doing, I wanted to do, but debated on not doing it because of how controversial this is. The good news about this video is that this video is on a channel that has no monetization or none of that shit. So I don't really have to worry about censoring myself. And if anything, I'm probably be more vulgar, especially with today's subject matter. So this video's title is probably misleading, but it's not, but it is. But just know this, what we're about to use in this video, if you're triggered by the N-word, and the N-word, I do mean the racial N-word. I mean the one that is genuinely offensive no matter who uses it. Or let me phrase that. It's genuinely offensive because of its original nature. And then the other one, which is a variation that only black people nowadays use. So if you don't want to have that conversation or hear that conversation, move on, because that's what this video is. It's just talking about that word and talking. And I'm after this, I'm gonna just say the word straight out. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it, nor am I going to just say N word. I'm not doing that, especially because they're technically two different N words anyway. So, well, they're supposed to be anyway, but I'll get more into that as we get into the video. So, moving from this point forward, if you were triggered by the N word in any way, shape, or form, get out. I mean, I'm serious, get out, because it's literally gonna come for the rest of the video. I'm just gonna say it brazenly and emphatically, with no remorse whatsoever, because I need to say it for the point to be made. I hope you guys are done, cause I got a cough drop and I got time. And just like a classic Terrell Game Vlogs videos, this shit won't be edited at all. So whatever happens, happens. So we're gonna talk about the term nigger and talk about the term nigga. And we're gonna talk about how these two terms are the most infuriating terms in modern English. Mainly nigga being the most infuriating. Nigger, I think, is kind of has a universal understanding, no matter who you are and what race you are. If you know about it, then you already know. But nigga absolutely infuriates me. So, to give some general brief historical context, the term nigger is a racial slur that was used back in the days of slavery after the colonizers, as people like to say nowadays, took Africans from Africa and had them come over here to essentially be slaves. We're just free labor and had less rights and value than humans. And over time, after the Civil War, things slowly improved after the efforts of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and various other revolutionaries, small or big. We started gaining back the rights we should have had from the start. But the term nigger was still used as a racial slur. It never stopped being a racial slur, to be fair. It's still considered a racial slur now. But that term was consistently used as a slur, especially by bigoted people, bigoted men and women use that term. Some of them used it because they genuinely hated people who didn't look like them. And some people used it because they were taught to hate people who look like them. So the term was used a lot. And as African Americans, we were tired of hearing that bullshit. We were tired of being told we were lesser and using that word to belittle us. So what we did is we took that word and we used it ourselves. And eventually, us using it, we kind of turned it into its own word, which is where the term nigga comes from. Nigga comes from nigger. That's the root of the word. But in a way, it's almost like we emancipated the term nigger from racism and made it just a term that black people use to call each other. Now, all of this sounds well and good, but the one thing about nigga that doesn't really work is that nigga, as time goes on, will become more and more detached from its racial roots, because as things improve and our social economic situation improves and our racial situation improves, and as things move forward, that word, if anything, seems like it's still relatively tied to its past. But the good news is, well, the term nigga doesn't necessarily hold the same racial weight as nigger, because we don't use nigger at all anymore. Black people don't just walk around calling each other niggers. They call each other niggas. My nigga, what's up, my nigga? What's up, my nigga? How you doing, my nigga? Like that's a normal greeting, and so it doesn't hold that same dark racial weight behind it, right? Right? As I would come to find out as I got older, no, it still holds that same racial weight, but it's in a very specific context. It holds the same racial weight as nigger, depending on the race of the individual who says it. And you're like, wait a minute, what? So what? Is there certain types of black people who can't say the term nigga and it be viewed as some racial disrespect or some bigotry? No, it's if a white person, or pretty much a non-black person, pretty much any race that isn't black, if you say it, then the response is as if you had said nigger. Now, depending on the black person you talk to, their reaction might range between a couple of things. The most of them will be somewhere between disgusted and disrespected, and most people will get angry and or saddened and or violent. Okay, and you're probably wondering, well, what's so infuriating about this term? What's got you so upset? That motherfuckers acted like nigga was such a different term, but we hold it in the same. Conceptually, it just sounds stupid. I want you to understand this, and I'll use a child example to prove my point. You got two kids. You got a black boy and a white boy, right? Or a black girl and a white girl, right? They've been friends all through elementary school, and they've been friends throughout most of middle school. And it's around middle school where they start learning about things like cuss words and shit. And one of the terms that the black girl always called her white friends is my nigga. She used to say it a lot. And the white friend never said nigga up until this point. Cause she didn't know, she never had a real reason to say it, right? And so one day, not thinking of it, the black girl goes, "What's up, my nigga?" And the white girl goes, "What up, my nigga?" And the black girl shakes and backs away, like, "What the fuck? How could you say such a thing?" And she's like, "What? What did I say?" He's like, "You said nigga." I said, "Yeah, so?" And she goes, "You can't say that." And she's like, "Why?" "Because it's racist." What? What do you mean it's racist? It's racist. Don't you know the history of the word nigga? No, no. You mean the N word, like the one that ends in er. That's the one that has such a dark racial past. Well, no. So does nigga. Nigga has the same dark racial past. I'm like, yeah, but the reason why you guys changed it was literally to break off of that, to emancipate it from the racists who were saying it to hurt you and turn it into a term of endearment, right? Yeah, but I'm not you. I literally used it the same way you just used it. I said, "What's up, my nigga?" And you said, "What's up, my nigga?" I don't. What's the problem? Because you're white. So, regardless of my intentions of how I said the term, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the fact that I'm white. Or let me actually be more specific. The fact that matters is that I'm not black and I said the word nigga, regardless of the context, is what matters. Yes. So I'm assuming your reaction is as if I had said it, regardless of how I said it, you're reacting as if I said it in a way to either harm you or threaten you. Yeah. So the word carries this much weight still, even though this isn't even the same word and y'all actively went out of your way to separate it from the original word. Yes. So what was the point of even changing the word? Remember back in the days, remember in the early days of that, before they started using nigga, they just used nigger. They just literally just took the word and just kept using nigger. And so black people were just the ones saying it. But the term nigga was to technically get away from it to some extent and to kind of emancipate it from it. But it still holds the same weight as the term nigger. Kind of, yes, no, if a white person says it or a non-black person says it. And you're just like, well, that just sounds fucking stupid. Especially because, as I said, time will move forward and things will improve. People will become less and less connected to that racist past. As generations grow, they'll become less and less aware. Actually, honestly, it's already kind of started happening now. There are plenty of kids I know whose first introduction to the N-word was not by a racist family member. It wasn't by grandpa sitting at the table talking about, I remember when niggers that weren't at the fucking table. They sat in their own little huts and sheds and ate by themselves. Like, the first time they're hearing it, in some cases, is literally from the music and entertainers they watch. Because nigga is kind of sort of cuss word. That's the other thing that makes it fucking weird. It's kind of sort of a cuss word. Meaning if you're on TV, it's perfectly fine, but if it's on like the radio, it'll get censored, and you're kind of like, what? And even in TV shows, it's weird. I've seen it where they've censored like curse words like fuck, damn, motherfucker, son of a bitch, which even some of those words are consistently censored. And nigga is just never censored. It's just viewed as another fucking word. But the word has so much racial and negative history. But it doesn't, but it does, but it doesn't, but it does because you're white. And you're just like, this shit don't make no sense. So a white person whose introduction to the N-word could be through their black friends, and their black friends just using it willy-nilly with no historical context. If I then use the word the same way they use it, they get offended at me and beat my ass. You're going to sit there and question, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And then you also got to ask the question of, why is that the only word none of us can say? Like, that's the other problem. We live in a society that argues freedom of speech. So it's weird. It's gonna be weird to people where it's like, I can say literally every other language, every other word in the dictionary, except the word that is commonly used on a day-to-day basis, depending on who I hang around. I mean, for God's sakes, I think it was recently mentioned, I think, that hip hop is the most popular genre of music. And where would you hear nigga the most at? In hip hop and R&B. So now I'm sitting here with this confused look on my face, like, so I can use the word if I'm black, but if I'm not black, it then gains all the racist and trauma-inducing history that it originally had. But if a black person says it, it doesn't get any of that. Which sounds like the word in itself is inherently racist, which it technically is because it's born from racism. And motherfuckers still want to have this argument about how white people shouldn't want to say it and white people shouldn't even be interested in saying it. I'm like, as a society, it feels like nigga will always be held over non-black people's heads for no other reason than because you're not black. But you know, it's the same weird segregation that we were trying to get away from. And we were, people were fighting and dying to get away from, and then we got away from it and then chose to, as soon as we got away from it, what the first thing we decided to do? Oh, we decided to impose that same segregation on others. And I'm just kind of like, this is the dumbest fucking word I've ever seen in my life. This is a word that is as popular as it is, but still considered somewhat racist because of its original origin that only really matters if you're talking to a non-black person about it. And you're just like, sir, you sound retarded as fuck, which, by the way, I think is also considered now a slur, even though retarded originally is a medical fucking term. This shit is the worst. And so some of you might ask, well, what the hell's my stance on the N-word? On the nigger debate. Nigger, I think most people are openly recognize that's just a slur. There is no good thing about it. Nigga is debated depending on where you're at. I'll give you an example. You got some people who are cool with friends, non-black friends, saying nigga. Then you got people who are cool with certain races saying nigga. Primarily, I think it's been the Mexicans. I've seen the most from. Like, if you're Mexican, they don't care as much. Also, because some Mexicans don't give a fuck and just want to use the word in general. But, you know, people were cool with friends, non-black friends saying nigga. Then you got people who are cool with certain races saying nigga. Primarily, I think it's been the Mexicans. I've seen the most from. Like, if you're Mexican, they don't care as much. Also, because some Mexicans don't give a fuck and just want to use the word in general. And it's crazy because we popularized it. The funny thing is that most, like I said, most people, kids today, are learning the word through either family members, friends, or I don't fucking know, the music and television we put out that all put that word in there in some way, level, or degree. It's just, I don't know. And what makes me mad is that it literally doesn't help anything. What makes it even funnier is that black people seem to have an obsession with taking random slurs and hate-filled words towards them and turning them into something else. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but a while ago on TikTok there was this whole night skin debacle where instead of calling black people niggers and niggas online, they would just call them they call them a night skin. And black people say, "Oh, that sounds nice. I'm gonna use that. That sounds like hot sauce on my chicken. That sounds nice." So I'm gonna go ahead and use it. I'm gonna go ahead and fucking use night skin. So now there's a lot of black people running around calling themselves night skins and niggas and not niggers, but niggas, night skins, and then you got blurs and shit. And I'm like, I hate y'all. I hate that black is now like a category of bullshit, and it aggravates the fuck out of me. Here's the other kicker that you'll probably find in this video or in the comments or just in general. When black people don't fuck with a black person, usually in the case of them acting either too white or like too close to the white man in some ways, whatever, essentially losing touch with their blackness, right? And they'll say some shit like maybe they were a Trump supporter, or maybe they like conservatives, or maybe they agree with abortion being outlawed. Like maybe they just have like differing opinions. Those black people are usually called coons. This is even more ridiculous once you realize that coon is a racial slur that wasn't used by blacks but was used by whites. The old slave masters, once again, were using other racial terms. They weren't, nigger was just the top of their list. That doesn't mean there wasn't any other ones on there. Coon is another word that is also used to belittle and berate black people, and it was used by slave owners. So why is it, tell me why, that the same African Americans who feel so quote unquote connected to the term nigger and nigga, that the utter mentioning of the word from a white person causes some sort of like emotional response? Why is it that some of these people are the same people who would then turn around and proceed to call you a coon because you acting too white for your own good, wherever the fuck that means? And that one's even worse because that word wasn't even changed. It wasn't like that word is different. It's spelled the same. It looks the same. It's even pronounced the fucking same. It's literally the same word. Coon is the word. Why are black people using a racial slur created by white people to describe black people for not being black enough in their eyes? Black people are ridiculous with these slurs, dog. Like, cause here's my thing, and this is where my stance is. If you're someone who absolutely hates the term and say no one should use it, I respect that more than this weird middle ground bullshit we have now, where motherfuckers are like, well, you can use the word nigga, but you have to be black. But if you're white and use it in the same way, in the same intention, it's racist because I don't trust you. Even though we may have known each other for years. Some of these kids have been friends and have literally lost friendships over some shit that made no sense. And some people go, oh, well, white kids shouldn't even care about it. Why they fucking care? Because it's being thrown in their face all the time. Niggas don't care about things that they aren't constantly. The funny thing is that the conversation comes up even more frequently because everyone won't shut the fuck up about it. It's thrown in your face and you're told you can't do it, which is literally the opposite of what most kids would want to do. Most kids will want to say it just because they can't say it. It's the same thing with the weed conversation. Motherfuckers get mad. We shouldn't allow weed. Why the fuck not? Weed is only as big of a deal as it was, literally because motherfuckers went out of the way to be like, you can't smoke it. And so what did motherfuckers do? They went and smoked it just to prove the point. They're like, fuck it. You don't care what you don't know who you are. You fucking man. I'm gonna still smoke my shit. Now once you legalize it, no one gives a fuck enough. Like, there are people who always use that stuff, but no one gives the fuck. Same thing with the word nigga. If you let everybody use it and stop gatekeeping it, no one would give a fuck after a while. The only reason why nigga pops up the way it does is because it's been proven time and time again to get these stupid fucking reactions from black people, to give you a rise, to give you some sort of entertainment. Nigga is just a word to do that. It's also a fun word to say. Just be real with you about it. Nigga, my nigga, no, nigga, please. Like, It's just a fun word to say, okay? I'm not gonna bullshit you on that. It's better than fucking night skin. Night skin, it sounds like a goofy ass motherfucker was too afraid to call someone a racist and just said, yeah, I mean, I can rock with it. I can rock with it. Black people are just weird as fuck with racial slurs. We are the weirdest race, in my opinion. And please, someone name it in the comments if you think there's a weirder race that handles racial slurs. Who in the world would ever claim that the version of the word we use today, which is more detached from its racial roots, holds the same racial weight because of the race of the person who says it? And then on top of that, if that person is too unlike traditional black folks, we will then use the exact racist term that slave masters use towards a black person not being stereotypically black. My head hurts. Shit don't make no fucking sense, bruh. This shit makes no sense. But it keeps fucking happening. It keeps fucking happening. I'm just sitting here questioning my life decision, going, where did I go wrong? I lost. Black people as a community need to do better. That's one of the things internally I feel like it needs to be agreed upon. Because for me personally, I don't care if anyone says it. I'm past that point. But I also tell them, listen, I feel that way, but the majority of African Americans will kill you just for uttering the beginning of the word, let alone finishing the full sentence out. And I'm just somebody, hey, we're not even, the original ER, you be dead. You will 110% be dead. Your life is over. It's done, so baby. Like you, that's it. That's it. Don't do it. For the love of God, don't fucking do it. For the love of God, don't do it. But like I said, I know some black people who don't care, who'd rather not be used at all. I have respect for those, but these weird in the middle road ass niggas always talking about, well, if you're black, you can use it. Well, if you're black and Mexican, you can use it. Oh, well, if you're black and you're Puerto Rican, you can use it. And you're just like, what the fuck? We haven't agreed on it. Also, we'll call you a coon or another racial slur because you weren't black enough. Like, man, fuck these niggas, man. That's ridiculous. But I hate that fucking. I hate the way it is. I hate how nigga is currently. I feel like if you're gonna make a decision with the term nigga, it needs to go one or two ways. Either no one ever should use it, which I think kind of goes against the freedom of speech thing, or everybody and their grandma can use it. Because a lot of people use it now anyway. But like I needed to become commonplace. Everything else in this society wants to grow and change. Let this nigga shit die. Please and thank you. Alright, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been your boy Terrell Game Vlogs. Watch the vlogs again from your boy Terrell, and I'll catch you later.